Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and we've got another beta game of the Gundam card game today. And real quick before we get into it, I do want to go over the decks that we used for this one. If you guys want any of the deck lists that I've been also working on in this beta version, you can find it linked in my description on my website, Eggman Events, so make sure to check that out. And then also I do want to shout out both DigiPanda as well as Yomi for doing the thumbnail and playing the game with me respectively. But real quick, the two lists, we've got mine that I was using for this video. It's kind of like this white and blue control version using the Strike Gundam, which I really like. We have access to a lot of blockers, but we also just have a good amount of card draw and cycle. So if we end up getting into a top deck situation at the end of the game, we generally have better ways and more consistency to get advantage from those cards too. So I think that's pretty strong. We are mostly using the Strike package, but we are also using kind of like the white base stuff. One of my favorite cards, as you'll probably see in the other deck list too, is Gun Cannon. I think that card is just super strong for what this game is. There's a lot of ways to interact with it too, and you can kind of get some nice little 2-for-1s or really good trades with it in the first place. So I really do like the add of that. And then obviously I think blue is just one of the better colors of the three that we get. I think Gun Tank is such a good card for getting these little 2-for-1 trades as well. And kind of in the late game, if your opponent doesn't have a base, these gun tanks rather can just do a lot of damage as well. So that's kind of the idea with it. We just have some ways to gain value in the late game with the copies of a Show of Resolve, white base as well. Just being able to pop out a unit every turn is very strong, and I've been really enjoying this build. So this is probably my favorite build right now to play with the deck or with the game, and I have been enjoying it quite a bit. And then there's probably one of the better, if not the best decks in this game is kind of this green breach deck that a lot of people have been talking about. There's just a lot of obvious synergies with the cards that exist right now that green and breach are very good. The kind of key card for that is probably the Wufei, obviously being able to get the effect of not only a +2 attack and +1 health, but also being able to prevent damage if you have breach, which we have a couple units already. We have the Rick Dom as well as the Shenlong Gundam being able to do that as well. And then kind of the same token where blue is just a really good support color in this game right now. So we're running 4 copies of Gun Tank. We're also running some Gun Cannon because it's a deck that I'm building. But we also have the Thoroughly Damaged and the Aandroidd Ray, which can go into the Gun Cannon to get not only the link with it, but you get some good advantage. And Aandroidd is just a really good kind of control card at times too. Being able to rest something just gets you a lot of advantage, especially if you're playing against a deck with a lot of blockers too. So other than that, we have Show of Resolve. We are playing the white base. We're also playing the Fall Mail. So we have these bases that are able to kind of pop out more units, and that gets some extra advantage there too. And then we are playing a little bit of the Char Zaku 2 and the Char. This maybe I should kind of lean into it more or less. I'm not really sure how much space I should put for these. Char Zaku 2 is really strong though if you're able to put it out, and then if you put any pilot underneath it, you are able to get the additional advantage of being able to get a unit afterwards. So I don't know if how strong that would be in this build, but I do like the kind of the 2 and 3. And then we are playing just 2 copies of Wing Gundam simply because there really isn't a great way to answer this card in this meta. We don't have the hero just because we don't have a lot of synergy with it with the rest of our deck, but we can still put Chang into the Wing Gundam, and it has breach, so you still have the protection from it, and it's just a really good late game card that if you're able to put on the board, it usually goes 2-for-1 and does breach 5, so you're able to get some really good pressure if you're able to play it out. So it's probably one of the weaker cards in the deck, but it is a really good card that can win you the game late game, and again, it's really hard for your opponent to kind of deal with at the same time. So those are the 2 decks that we've got today, and let's jump into the game. All right, we've got me on the left with the white and blue Strike Gundam deck, and then Yomi on the right with the blue and green Breach Aggro build as well. Also, if you guys notice any mistakes through this video, please let us know. This is obviously a pretty new card game. I noticed one tiny one during the editing of this one too, which I'll make sure to point out. But if there's anything or any questions you guys have about any gameplay, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer that in the comments too. But we're going to start off. Yomi won the dice roll, and she's going to go second. I think most people agree that going second is a little bit stronger since the EX resource converts into an additional level, so she's going to be doing that. We're going to look at opening 5. I'm going to keep my 5, and then Yomi's going to do the same as well. If you were to mulligan, it's putting all cards from your hand to the bottom of your deck, draw a new 5, shuffle, and then you do put the life there too. But we're going to start off. I've got 1 resource there. We're going to play out a Demi Trainer, just a 1/1 blocker, and pass it back to Yomi. All right, Yomi's first turn, so she's technically level 2 because of the EX resource. She's going to play out the Zaku 2, and going to use that to press some damage, I think, on the next turn, and then pass it back to me. I've got 2 resources. I'm actually just going to attack once into the EX resource, just because I know that the Zaku 2, I can either block it or I can convert into some damage. But it looks like they're going to attack into our EX base. It's going to be a 3 attack there, so we are going to lose our EX base there. Yomi, again, is level 3 with 2 resources and 1 EX, and she's going to play out the Fall Mel as well, so kind of erasing the damage I did on there, but this will let her play out a 3-1 token, which is really good, go down to 5 shields, and just also get a 5 health base out there. So I'm level 3 right now with 3 resources, and let's see what I decide to do on this turn. So it looks like we're going to attack the Demi Trainer into the Zaku there, so it does get removed. And then we're going to play out the gun cannon for 2, and then also have the Hiato there to be able to not only link so we can attack the turn with it, but that attack into the Zaku 2 is pretty good. So we do 1 damage to us, but we get the repair 1, and we clear the board. But Yomi's got the kind of good combo. We've got the Shenlong Gundam as well as the Chang Wufei. So this is going to be able to attack since it is a link. It has breach, and then also Chang's effect just makes it so we don't even deal damage. So a 6-4, it has the breach effect, so doing an additional damage to our shields, and that was pretty unfortunate for me. That was a really good counter to my gun cannon. So we're going to play out an Archangel as well, and that is a base for us to hopefully starve off a little bit of damage. We're going to play out the Launcher Strike Gundam, which is just another blocker, and then we're going to pass it right back to Yomi. So again, it's a 6-4 with breach, and again, if it's anything with 3 or less attack points, which our blocker does have, we just don't take damage. It's such a good combo in this kind of beta game that we have right now. She has the Lotto there, which is an Earth Federation card, and has the Amuro there to additionally pair with it. So being able to use that to rest my Strike Gundam, and then she's going to be able to attack with the Wufei, which does 3 damage due to the breach effect to my base, and then Lotto can attack since it is linked with the Amuro, and this is looking pretty bad for me all of a sudden. There's a lot of pressure already on the board, and being able to, like, this Wufei has just gotten so much value as well. So we're going to play out another Archangel. We're going to play out the Ale Strike Gundam, which is okay. It's a 4-4 blocker, right? We will be able to get some good blocks with it. Additionally, though, if we do trade and there's a card with breach, you still get the damage with it. So if we block the Shenlong, they're still going to do the breach 3 damage to us too. But it looks like they're going to attack. We're just going to block with it. Tiny mistake on this one. For some reason, I thought it had 5 HP. It's not going to be a big deal, as you guys will see in a second, but that should be removed right now. Even if it was removed, though, it's still to be able to do the breach damage. And then you always be able to play a Zaku 2 as well as another Lotto. So pretty wide board with us only at 3 shields. This is looking pretty scary for us. And let's see if we can do anything to stabilize as well. So we're going to start with the gun tank, which again just removes this. I likely would have played this out regardless anyways, but being able to get that value is good. And then we additionally have another Ale Strike Gundam, but no Kira yet to be able to pair with it, which is unfortunate. That would be able to get some good pressure with it, but we've got second best. We have our own copy of Amuro as well. So using the effect of the Ale Strike, we're able to bounce the Zaku 2 back to hand. This is not a link, so we're not able to attack the turn we are. And technically, we could have rested the other Lotto, but we're just going to pass back and go from there. So currently, we're a 6-5 blocker there. They're attacking with 4 into our shields again, so I will just block it here to get the removal there. We're going to take 4 damage and be at 1 HP right now. And then Yomi's going to just attack into there too, just to clear it out. And then from there, she's going to be playing out the Gundam, just the standard RX-78 one, and then also the Rick Dom. So being able to use both of these, this is, again, a lot of pressure. And as long as I don't have like a base out, this breach damage does so much for us here too. So looking at my resources right now, I've got quite a few, and this is kind of like the point of the game where we run out of things to do with all these resources. But I have my Amuro, which is able to rest the Rick Dom, and then we attack with our gun tank there. We're going to play white base as well, which is going to be pretty strong. We're going to spend 2 to be able to play a 3-3 token, and then play out a Strike Dagger from our hand too. So we're able to kind of stabilize a little bit. These bases have been pretty good at starving off a little bit of damage there, and we're going to pass from there. But Yomi's going to play Char Zaku 2 number 1, Char Zaku 2 number 2, and then attack with the Gundam into our base. So this is going to get 3 damage, go back down to 2. And then play a 3rd copy of Char Zaku 2 as well. So pretty wide board. Luckily, no copies of Char, which would have been able to press a lot of damage here and pass it back to us. So again, 2 health left on our base, and we're going to attack in our Strike Dagger into the Gundam here. And we are going to need to do one more piece of damage, which luckily I did have in hand here as well with the thoroughly damage right there. So that does get rid of the Gundam there. And then from there, we're just going to use our base effect to be able to play now a 2/2 token, since we do have one character on the board right now as well. But this base being able to pop out tokens is really strong in like a late game scenario like here. So we're going to be able to attack our Gundam into their base, make it a 2 health base now, and play a 3rd copy of Ailstrike. Still no copy of Kira, unfortunately, but that's just kind of how it is. So going back to Yomi now, 3 copies of Zaku 2. We're going to block one of them. Especially since they don't have the pilot in them right now. She's going to play her own gun cannon to be able to get gun tank to get the removal on there. And then we're going to attack 3 into the base, remove the base. And then I think this turn was like a little bit of some missequencing. I think she could have just gone straight for shields as well, but ending up just removing our token and then playing the white base as well. And if she played the white base before playing the gun tank, she would have been able to make a 2/2 token and then play the base there, but it's understandable that just a tiny sequencing error there too. So playing the gun cannon from hand as well, using the base effect to be able to play a 1/1 token and passing it from there. So we're going back to my turn again, looking a little bit rough, but we have a copy of Show of Resolve, which is a super good top deck, and we end up drawing into another one also. And then since that is a 1 health token, we're going to be able to attack these into each other, but also play out our additional copy of Perfect Strike Gundam, which will be able to bounce the 1 health token back to hand. And since it's a token, it just gets removed from the game. We're going to play out a strike there, and we're going to pass from there. So we're stabilizing a little bit. We've got another 4/4 blocker, which would be nice with these 2 cards here. And we're going to do 2 damn block. We're going to take the gun tank's effect as well, so we have 1 health left and then another copy of thoroughly damaged, so that does get the removal there. But Yomi's kind of run out of resources, but she does have the white base, so she's able to make a 3/3 token as well. And it really just I need to get rid of that base, because it's just going to be a problem for the rest of this game if I'm not able to get it out efficiently. But we're going to play out Strike Gundam as well. This lets us draw 1 and trash 1. We're going to attack into the base, so it has 2 health right now, taking 3 damage. And then we're going to play out a 1/1 Demi Trainer and I think pass from there. So we're in an okay spot. We're almost stabilizing, I feel like. But this is kind of like how a lot of these beta games kind of end up at times, where it's just kind of a top deck war, which is why I think being able to get like so many like consistency tools in a deck like this helps us a lot. So there goes our 4th copy of Ailstrike. From our life, or from our shield, so we're not going to be able to get another copy of that out. You're always going to be able to play out a 2/2 token as well, and then play out the 2/3 copy of the gun cannon. And then at the end of the turn, there is an action step as well, which is something that's newer for this newer for me for this card game and kind of Bandai card games in general. So I'm going to play Intercept Orders, which will be able to rest both of these gun cannons as well, and will potentially let me do some kind of favorable trades with them as well. So we're going to top deck another base, and I think this is one of our last bases in this deck, but pretty good since we do have a blocker out. We're going to use the Archangel there, going down to 0 shield, so if we take any additional damage after our base is gone, we will lose the game. But we're going to attack our Strike Gundam 3/3 into the 2/3 gun cannon, so that will get the removal there. And then from there, we're going to be able to do some kind of awkward trades, but I still think kind of needed to. So we're going to use our Strike Dagger to attack into the 3/3 token. That will get the trade there. We're going to have our Demi Trainer attack into the base. I was really thinking about getting rid of the base, but we just won't be able to. And then we have the Archangel effect to pay 2 to restand our Demi Trainer. So we're not like in a bad spot. Yomi is kind of like, again, top decking an answer. She finds something like a Wing Gundam, a Show of Resolve. There's a lot of cards that if she draws them, we probably just lose the game at the spot. So hopefully she doesn't. She gets another Thoroughly Destroyed, which we'll be able to get rid of our Strike Gundam, and then using the base effect to be able to play another gun cannon as well. So another token there. We are going to get rid of the base there. And we're going to use our base effect again to restand the Demi Trainer. We're going to attack 2/3 there, take 1 damage, and we have another Strike Dagger in our hand. So we're clinging on there. Yomi's pretty close. Only 3 health left in our base, and we have a single blocker as well. But looks like she's thinking about where this 2/2 attack is going into. Again, if she has she top decks like a Wing Gundam, I think this just kind of ends it there. You don't even attack here. You have Wing Gundam attack into the Demi Trainer on the next turn, and then you go your 2/2 to go for game from there. But her top deck seems like it's a little bit unfortunate here. Nothing really to do, unfortunately, and will just pass it back to us. So we might be able to squeak this one out. There's the Wing Gundam that would have won her the game. And then we do have a Strike Dagger again from hand. Playing this out, we're going to use 2 resources to restand our Demi Trainer. And we'll just kind of have to see what she has, but it's looking pretty good. She has the copy of Zaku and the thoroughly damage just for spite to be able to do 1 damage to the Strike Dagger. There are situations where if there's like a base out of life, we might not be able to win this turn, but with all these going through, we end up getting it too. So that's kind of the game. This deck is pretty tight to get to the late game, but once we do, we have a lot of ways to just kind of hold on to 1 or 2 shields. And again, I've been really enjoying playing the strike version of it. So again, thank you very much to Yomi for playing with me. I would not be able to make this video without her. Let me know what you guys think about these decks and this gameplay in general. Thank you again for DigiPanda for making the thumbnail for this one, and that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.